Welcome back, everyone. Okay, so last time we covered input for strings. This time we're going to cover input for numbers. There's a few things that we need to learn a little bit beforehand before we dive straight into that, but let's get through it. I'm going to start by doing input numbers dot py here. Or I could have done number inputs. Either way, I know what I'm looking for if I need to come back. Anyway, first things that we need to cover is typecasting, because input always comes in as a string by default. So we need to tell the computer how to convert a string into a number. So let's take the string 15, right? It's a string because it's in quotations, but the computer doesn't know how to save that as an integer. So right now, radius is actually a string variable until we tell the computer what type this is. So I'm going to do int with brackets here. Int converts it into an integer. If you've taken grade 10 math, you might already know that integers are whole numbers, positive or negative, without decimals. That means no decimals allowed. So 15 would work because it doesn't have a decimal. Let's say I had pi, right? Pi, pi, not PIE pi. So that is 3.14. We're just going to keep it simple for now. Some of the math enthusiasts are like, no, actually, it's way more. But this isn't a competition. Anyway, 3.14 is in quotes. So it actually is a string, not a float. To convert a string to a float, we type float and then put that in brackets. So this is how you actually convert a string into a number. So now I could actually print radius plus pi. I don't know why we would do plus pi. You know what? Let's do an actual circumference calculation. Let's say it'd be 2 times radius times pi. And I need to fix the spacing here because that's going to bother me. And I'm also going to add some text beforehand. Just bear with me. The circumference is 2 times radius times pi. If I run this, it should work, no errors. Okay, good. It calculates the circumference for us because 15 times 2 is 30. 30 times 3.14 is 94.2. You can double check this with a calculator if you'd like. All right, few things. This is kind of ridiculous. I'm only doing this to show you how to do a typecast. I would actually just write this as 3.14. This is the proper way to do this. Okay, if I need to get an input though, I do need to say what type it is. So if I have an input here and I ask the user, what is the radius? And then I'm going to do a \n because I don't want it on the same line. Now the user can type in a number and it will automatically calculate and print out what the circumference is for me. So if I run this, radius is not defined. Did I mess up somewhere? I think I forgot to hit save. Radius. Whoop. I hit run. Okay, now it asks, what is the radius? I think I accidentally hit enter by accident. If I do that, then I get an error. I actually have to type in a number for this to work. So I'm going to hit run again one more time. And then I'm going to type 15 just because we know what the answer is already. It was like 94.2. I was going to say 92.4. My memory's not the greatest, but the computer got it. 94.2. So it works with 15. What if I try to do like 1.5? I get an error because it's not an integer. It has a decimal. So I can actually change this to a float. The reason why we want to use a float is because radius can actually have decimals. If you ask someone their age, They usually don't give the answer in decimals, so it actually would make more sense to use an integer in that case. This is where software engineers come in, because they will be specialized in deciding what kind of data type to use for which context. And in this case, radius can have decimals, so I'm going to give it a float. Now I can run it, and I can do 1.5. There we go, and then I get my circumference. What's awesome about this is that you can create your own calculators to help you solve your math, double check your math problems. So if you're at home and you think the back of the book might be wrong, you could try to program it and then test to see if it works the same. Test it on a question that you already know that works. The problem is you still need to know how to actually do the calculation. If you don't know how to do that, you're not going to be able to program it. So in this case, I do know 2 times pi times r, or 2 pi r, is the calculation for circumference. And in one of your activities, I have you calculate the area, not the circumference. So use the knowledge that you've gained from this to create a calculator to complete those activities. And remember, you can have more than one variable with inputs, and the inputs go inside of what type of variable it is. You don't have to do this for string because it defaults to string. You only have to do it for numbers. I think that's everything, and we recapped everything. I didn't add comments. Input section. Hashtag output section. And that covers everything. Awesome. Okay, best of luck on your daily activities, and I'll see you in the next one.